Hi, welcome to Think Human. I'm Chris, and in this video I want to talk about the small slice of reality that we as human beings can perceive. We can start off by thinking about the electromagnetic spectrum, and the electromagnetic spectrum includes all possible forms of light. So we can start off by really short wavelengths and high energies like gamma rays that can have wavelengths as short as smaller than a nanometer, really high energy, going all the way to really long wavelengths and really low energy such as radio waves that can have frequencies as huge as a kilometer long, and we can only see this narrow slice in between our medium average world that we are accustomed to. There are some animals that can perceive the world slightly differently than we can. For example, some insects can perceive things in ultraviolet, a little bit more energetic form of light that gives different kind of information, really beautiful to look at. And then we have some animals like snakes that see in infrared. They can see the body heat, the thermal radiation, and this is a little bit lower frequency. We as human beings are quite smart, so we have over time built devices to help us see in all across the spectrum. So when looking at different things or looking at astronomical objects, some things are better to look at X-rays, some things are better to look at radio waves, and we can put this all together. But at the end of the day, all we see is kind of a representation. We don't really perceive what it is. It's kind of a, when looking things at a really small scale on a microscope, at some point the meaning of color disappears, and so when you see images of something really small, they sometimes add color, but at those scales the meaning of color disappears. And so the same way we can sort of translate it into what the visible form of X-rays or infrared would mean to us, but it doesn't really give us any kind of what the true experience of that would be. If we had the capacity to truly experience everything that's going on around us, it would pretty much drive us mad in like a few minutes, because there are cosmic particles streaming through the earth all the time. There's Wi-Fi radiation, radio waves everywhere. It's a crazy world out there, and most of these things are completely invisible to us unless we use some devices to see them. So we can only perceive a really small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's exactly the same way with sound waves. We can perceive in the range of 20 to 20,000 hertz. Below that we have infrasound, which is the lower frequency sound in which elephants communicate, the moles, these sounds that by us go totally unnoticed. And then when we go above our own hearing in frequency, then we have bats and dolphins that speak in ultrasound. Again, these kind of sounds that we can't hear. It's quite interesting that there is so much information in the world that we're just not able to perceive. And it's interesting to think about in the future if there's any way how we could sort of perceive the world with everything that it has in it, and also makes us wonder, like, there are probably things that we can't even imagine, like there's some type of sea creatures that can sense electric fields around other living organisms. How strange would that look like? Couldn't even imagine. So essentially just wanted to illustrate that electromagnetic spectrum, where we can only see a small part of it, and same way with sound spectrum, we can sense a small part, but like it's okay in the sense that it works for us. We have evolved in this world, and we live in this medium-sized world with medium-sized objects, with medium-sized phenomena. We are not meant to hear what dolphins are talking about. We're not meant to see what gamma rays look like, but that's absolutely nothing to stop us from still doing that. And I think the more technology advances, the more we find ways of actually exploring the world and extending our senses. So long story short, it's a beautiful world out there. Shouldn't take anything for granted. There is so much that go unnoticed by us, but actually there's a whole world of wonder out there. Electromagnetic waves, all the same thing as visible light, it's just different forms, different energies. Microwaves exactly the same as light, gamma rays exactly the same as light, only difference is the wavelength. So this is just some thoughts. I hope you liked the video. If you have any ideas, please leave them down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.